Royals fans, welcome back in. I'm pleased to be joined with the head scout of the Victoria Royals, Tanner McCall. Tanner, a busy week. You guys just completed, of course, the U.S. priority draft and the WHL prospects draft taking place last week. How are you feeling now that the week's over? I'm sure it was a busy time for you guys.
Yes, it was a whirlwind. It was obviously a lot of work over the course of the season, and you're putting all the work in advance, hoping that it makes the day of the draft easier, and that's definitely how it was today. I thought we were very fortunate with how it shook out, and we got a whole bunch of good young players here that we think can be really good Royals and that fit the profile of player that we're looking for. And as we go through this, I might sound like I'm repeating myself when we describe some of these guys, but these attributes that all these guys will be having is what we're looking for and going for. So there's going to be lots of similarities, between all of them in the group, regardless of position, just because we're looking for certain things and we found it in these guys. So it was a busy couple months and a whirlwind day there at the draft, but a couple of days out now and looking back on it, we're really happy with how it went, and we're very excited about the future of these young guys joining the program.
Yeah, and we're going to dive right into, like you said, we're going to go over an overview of all 11 players drafted by the Royals in the WHL prospects draft. Starting off, 3 forwards taken with the team's first 3 picks, and we're going to start off at number 8, Jacob Schwartz, of course, the 8th overall selection. What can you tell me about the forward from St. George's?
Well, we think we found a fan favorite. Jacob is very dynamic. He's a bit of an undersized offensive forward. He can really skate. He's very intelligent. He's got great hands. He led the sports school league in goal scoring this year. So, if you can lead that league in scoring, obviously, you have some finish, and he can score a bunch of different ways. He's got a really nice release. He often finds himself in alone, and he can put it past the goaltender. And on top of his shooting prowess, he's also got a great set of hands. He's a really good passer. He sees the ice very well. And I think what fans will like the most down the line is how competitive he is. He's very involved and he's very competitive, and he's just one of those guys that's catching your eye all the time. And he plays really fast and he's got lots of skill. So we were very excited to get him there at 8, and he's a guy we spent lots of time watching over the course of the season, and we're glad it shook out that way. We think he's going to be a very good Western Hockey League player. So we were very excited when he was there at 8 for us.
Yeah, definitely. Judging just by the highlights I saw, it looks like an exciting player as well for the future. Moving up into the next pick, of course, you guys had 2 first-round selections. Next up was 18th overall from the Winnipeg Bruins U15 program, Ludovic Perreault. And speaking of goal scoring, he had a pretty impressive goal scoring year this year, 67 goals. What can you tell us about him?
Ludo's another guy. Again, I hate to continue to repeat myself, but it'll be a theme here. He's a very dynamic player. He can play center. He can probably play any forward position. He can play all situations: power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5. He's a very energetic and dynamic player. He's incredibly quick. He flies around. He makes plays in all 3 zones. As you mentioned, he put up great numbers this year. I think he had like 67 goals in the Manitoba League. He was the captain of his team. He's going to be another guy that's a fan favorite and one of those guys that you kind of can't take your eyes off because he plays with a ton of pace, and he's involved in the play all over the ice, and he makes other guys better, and he can stretch the D and split the D, and we're going to be very excited to see the contributions he can make in a lineup in a variety of roles and situations. Like I said, we're very excited. We weren't sure if he was going to be there or not, so when the picks started rolling in, and it turned to be our turn there at 18. We were very excited to get Ludovic. He's another guy we've been tracking all season. Every time we saw him, he never disappoints. His effort is up there with one of the hardest working groups of guys in the draft, and he's just Energizer Bunny in on everything, and he can really shoot the puck. So we're excited. He's going to bring a lot to the lineup, and he's kind of one of those guys that will go get the puck back all the time. So he's going to be lots of fun for his line mates to play with too. So another guy we were very, very happy to get, and he's been productive at every level, and expect him to keep taking some steps. And he should be a big player for us in the lineup here, hopefully sooner than later. Obviously, all these kids need another year of midget or U18 hockey. So they're all a year away for sure, but we expect him to be just as dominant as he was with the Bantam. Same thing with Schwartzy. Like they're just very skilled, smart, quick players. Their game should translate very well to the next age group, and then translate very well to the Western Hockey League when that day comes.
Yeah, and that wrapped up the first round, of course, your team. And Ludovic Perot might be one of the best names in the draft as well. I know that's going to be a broadcaster's dream for sure. Switching over now to the second round, another pair of picks for you guys, starting off at number 35. Another centerman, a local flair talent in there as well, playing at Shawnigan Lake from the island. Eli McCamey, what can you tell us about this player?
We were pumped for Eli to be there. Like you say, being a local boy, it's a name that's going to be recognizable for a lot of people in Victoria and out on the island. He's another guy that's incredibly skilled, very intelligent. He's got a good frame. He's got great hands. He played up this year, played U18 out at Shawnigan Lake in the prep league. So he played midget hockey as a bantam. He got it down here. He had 48 points in 28 games. He was dominant as the youngest player, in that league. Him and DuPont were the two bantams playing in that loop, and both of them were incredibly productive and did a great job challenging against the older boys. And we're very happy to select him there. We think he can be another guy that's, got a chance to be an elite Western Hockey League player. And you mentioned us kind of taking 3 centermen in a row, and I'm of the belief we can never have too many good centermen. So whether everybody ends up playing down the middle or guys get moved out on the wing, it really doesn't matter. It's just about stockpiling talent, and we think in those top 3 picks, we have some real star power there, and it'd be really exciting to see all these guys in the lineup potentially at some point. And we just couldn't pass up the value there. Like I said, Eli's a terrific talent. He can score. He can make plays for others. Great on the power play. He's a very skilled player, so it was a no-brainer for us to take him there. And the local flavor is just an added bonus. He's a heck of a player.
And like you mentioned there, when we did the pre-draft preview as well a couple weeks ago, I asked you the question about just having the draft capital and differentiating between picking the best player available and also going over the positional needs. And I think you kind of just defined it there. You take 3 centermen, but as you said, these are 3 players you guys were super high on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were able to, as the draft kind of rounded out, we took 6 forwards, we took 4 defensemen, and we were able to get a goaltender. So we had a nice balance there, and that's something we're going to be focused on. And up at the top of the draft, you have to be focused on taking the best player available, and all 3 of those guys should be impact players in the Western League. And it was just like I said, it was a no-brainer, and you can never have enough good centermen.
No, that's for sure. Then one more pick in the second round. Of course, it was just 2 picks later, and you guys got your first defenseman of the draft, Colton Hurst, out from Chilliwack. So what can you tell us about this blue liner?
Colton had a great year, played for Fraser Valley, was the captain out there. They won the BCU 15 AAA League championship. This is a right-handed, got a nice frame. He's very mobile. He plays a really well-rounded and mature game for a bantam. He moves the puck really well. Some power play upside there. He's really intelligent. One of my favorite things that he does is he really defends. It's tough to find kids these days that can kind of defend how we would traditionally view a defenseman play, and taking away passing lanes and separating the man from the body and sealing guys in the D zone along walls just to kill cycles. And he's that just classic, well-rounded, very intelligent, got a great frame, he skates well, he's mobile, and he's just plays a very, very mature game. Doesn't make many mistakes, if any at all. Everything is just quick, simple. The puck is going north all the time. He's just incredibly well-rounded. Had a terrific year. We're expecting him to play U18 in Fraser Valley next year. They're hosting the TELUS Cup, so it'll be a great opportunity for him to, have a long season, play until the end of April or maybe early May. I don't know the exact dates of the event next year, but, just another great experience for a young guy. And we were really high on him, and to get him where we got him, we're pretty excited. And again, we talked about adding 3 centermen. Anytime you can get a nice right shot defenseman that checks all the boxes, it was just a no-brainer for us. And he's got a chance to be a very, very good Western League player. And him having a big long season next year, playing under the brightest lights of the national championship, and the rest of it will just really help him, develop and continue to take steps. And it was it was great value for us there, and we're really glad that we got him.
Yeah, and like you mentioned there, the right-handed defenseman, three of those you guys got or Victoria got in the draft. So definitely some good pickups there. And as we continue to move along here, we're going to move on to round number 3, your guys' 5th overall selection. It was Drayden Urena, and a theme may be coming here. Lots of Winnipeg talent into the mix. What can you tell us about Drayden?
Well, Drayden's a very skilled player. You know, you're going to bring up the Winnipeg thing. We just found it wasn't really something we were looking for. We just
Yeah.
kept finding the Manitoba boys where there was great value for them on the list. And Drayden's a guy that put up great numbers this year in that really tough league. He played a key role on that Rink Winnipeg team. He's got a nice frame. He can really skate. He can play center. He can play the wing. He's got terrific hands and a great shot. He's one of those guys that really pops on the power play. He's got a quick stick. He sees the ice, and he can really shoot it. If he gets a chance, he can put it away. He's got a chance to be a really good offensive player in the Western Hockey League. And with us having those 3 forwards picked ahead of him, it's going to give him a chance to come in and play with, some really good line mates. However, those guys end up sorting themselves out in the future, whatever positions they end up playing, it was just important for us to get somebody that can, hopefully play in the top 6 one day and contribute on the power play. And we were really surprised to see him there. Obviously, he had a great season and was up for some league awards, had a great season statistically, and we were absolutely pumped to get him where we got him. We think he complements those other 3 forwards we got really well, and we're expecting him to have a big season next year. And in hopes of getting ready to play in the Western Hockey League sooner than later. We'll have to see where everybody's at come a year from now, but, Drayden checks a ton of boxes. And like I say, we're looking for guys that can skate and have skill and play with pace and, great hands and are competitive, and he fits that for us. So really good value. We're really excited to get Drayden in the program, and we'll see how this goes through the next couple of years. But he's got a ton of upside and he's very talented. So exciting to get him there at 53.
Moving on to round number 4, 75th overall. As you mentioned, you guys grabbed one goaltender in the draft, and you guys were able to get him in round number 4, Seth Badgery from Stony Plain, Alberta. What can you tell us about this netminder?
Every time I saw Seth this year, he was fantastic. He was a second-team All-Star out in the Alberta League this year. He played on kind of a mid-range team out there at PAC. He was the backbone of that club. He could just flat out steal games for them. He had a wonderful Alberta Cup. He was an all-star there, was a game star, two of his 3 starts there. He's got a good frame. He's very athletic, tracks the puck very well. He's got a really solid technical base. He can skate. And I think he's got really good hockey sense in the net. He does a really nice job of getting out and challenging shooters when there's no option to pass. And we just thought he was incredibly well-rounded, and we saw him, just the scouting staff as a whole saw him steal lots of games this year, and he's pretty dynamic in goal. He can hold you in there if the team gets off to a slow start. He seems to thrive on a heavy workload. Hopefully, someday if he's playing for us, he doesn't have to worry about a heavy workload all the time. But he was excellent every time we saw him this year. We were really happy to get him there in the 4th. He's got a pretty good frame, and he should be able to keep growing, but he's very athletic, he's very competitive, and technically he's very sound. So we think he's got a chance to be a really, really good goaltender in the Western Hockey League. And, the next couple of years will be interesting. These young goaltenders, it's all about minutes. They have to play to get better. And so he's going to have to make sure that every stop he's at, he's going to have to challenge for the starters' minutes. And, we did that this year. He got to play a ton and held his team in a bunch of games. And he was a high-end goaltender in this year's draft, and we were, again, really happy to get him there in the 4th. We think he's got a bright future.
No, definitely exciting, and definitely a lot of promise in net for Victoria in the years to come, with guys like Cole Perlewski drafted last year, and of course Jaden Krause, Ryan Tamerlan, just to name a few. Lots of other trades took place around round 4, mix and matching, getting some draft capital for future years. Of course, a 4th round pick was traded for a future 2028 second, which I was very intrigued on. But after that pick of Badger, you guys went back to the defenseman, taking Lucas Graham, another big defender standing at 6 feet tall from Red Deer. What can you tell us about Graham?
Well, so Graham's a left shot defenseman. He played this year, as you mentioned. He's from Red Deer. He played in the AAA Alberta League there for the Red Deer Rebels. Saw him at a bunch of events throughout the season. I thought he progressed and got better throughout the course of the year. I was out in Edmonton for the Alberta AAA Provincial Championships. I thought he was fantastic there. The fact that his team even got there meant that he had a very good playoff, and they got some good goaltending also. And he defends really well. He's got a longer, lengthier frame. He's very intelligent. He moves the puck really well. He sees the ice. He can, hit a quick, open, early outlet. He supports his partner really well. He skates really well, and he's a heck of a penalty killer. Again, back similar to Hurst, he's kind of that traditional style two-way defenseman that defends really well. He boxes out. He's good along the walls. He's very good with his stick. We just think he's got a ton of upside. He's a later birthday. We expect him to keep growing. He should be a big man one day. And all these kids, it's about the steps they take the next couple of years. They have to be putting it together off the ice. Obviously, they're going to grow and change physically, but they have to be putting in the time. And we think, Lucas has got a ton of upside. A chance to be a really solid, well-rounded guy that he plays hard and he plays a very smart game. He fit exactly what we were looking for. That's another guy that we were really excited to get there in the 6th round. And I couldn't say his name fast enough when our pick came up there. He just got better and better. He had a really good Alberta Cup. Played on a good team there. Did all the same things that he did all year. Sometimes these kids get to the year-end events and the pace picks up and there's a little better caliber talent there. And Lucas didn't miss a beat, fit right in, played his game, moved the puck really well, was key on the penalty kill and shut down some really high-end forwards. And he had a great season, and it was really nice to see him put the cherry on top there at Alberta Cup. And then there's another guy, thrilled to get him in the 6th. I didn't know if he was going to be there or not, and we're just excited about what he is now and hopefully what he can continue to turn himself into here in the future.
Yeah, another one of those that by the sounds of it, a very exciting player and a player that people can look forward to going forward here in Victoria. Moving to the 7th round now, you guys went back to the defenseman, this time a right-handed shot, Rylan Moore. And of course, he was teammates with Ludovic Perreault. So what can you tell us about Rylan?
Well, like you say, we were chasing Ludovic around all year, and Morsey was there the whole time. They played really well together. Rylan's very well-rounded. He's a little bit undersized compared to the first 2D we took, but Rylan's got a lot of upside with the puck. He can skate it up the ice himself. He can pass it up and down the ice. He's really good on the power play. He's got good hands. He's also very competitive, and he's physical. He is not afraid to engage in the D zone along the walls. He'll step up and hit you on open ice. He's very well-rounded. We think he's got lots of upside. Again, another Winnipeg boy. You go and watch that Bruins team. It was him and Pro. I couldn't keep my eyes off those two. He had a great season, and we think he's more than willing to put in the work off the ice. And we just thought there was a ton of upside there. The right shot helps for sure, and he's got a really good two-way game. So we're excited to see what he can get to the next couple seasons, and we're really excited to see all these guys at training camp. It's crazy. We just wrapped the draft up and all of a sudden the page flips and, training camp, although it's a couple months away, everybody's, I'm already getting a little excited to see these guys there and see how they all look together, and the opportunity for the kids and the families to see, the city of Victoria and see the facility and the rest of it. So we're really excited to get Ryland. He complements, the other defensemen we took very well. He scored 6 goals, had 29 assists, did a 35-point season, which is that's a really good season statistically for a defenseman in a pretty good league out there in Manitoba. So very excited he was there, and him and Ludovic, obviously having known each other for the past couple of years, will be good. Hopefully see them both in Royals jerseys here before we know it. So.
Yeah, I was going to say that chemistry, hopefully something people get to see down the road here in Victoria as well, but sounds like a good pick for sure. Moving in, staying in the 7th round, it was just 3 picks later that Victoria got to pick again. A big centerman this time, Nolan Harding, coming in at 6 feet, 173 pounds. Pretty impressive size for a 14-year-old. Once again from Winnipeg. What can you tell us about Nolan?
So Nolan played on that Rink Academy team that Urena played on. So that's another team that we saw at all the major events and major tournaments. He was fantastic at the championships in Penticton in March. He was very good in April at the year-end Manitoba event. He really came on over the course of the season. You mentioned his size. He skates very well. He's physical. He's got underrated puck skill. He can make plays off the rush. He had a pretty good season statistically. He put up some points himself. He had 34 points in 27 games, double-digit goals, bigger frame, good hands, skates very well. He's physical. He'll get good on the forecheck. He'll get involved. He's also used extensively by their team to take lots of important faceoffs. So he's kind of going out there as a defensive draw specialist and wins a ton of draws. He's really good in his own zone. We just saw a very well-rounded, kind of competitive 200-foot centerman that we think can come in and play an important role in all situations. And like we mentioned before, got a lot of centermen here. Not everybody's going to play center, but we think Nolan's very well-rounded, and he's a bigger boy already, and he complements the rest of the group very well. And he had a good season. He got better and better as the year went on, and he's another guy who's just going to have to keep working away off the ice and working on his craft and working on his skills. And we see him playing an important, valuable role for us, hopefully in a couple of years wearing the blue and white. So very excited to get Nolan there in the 7th. I know I keep saying it, but we run a really small draft list and get them in the order that we prefer them. And as they come off, if you make our small draft list, we don't really care where you get you. If you pass the grade to get there, we believe that you got a chance to be a good Western Hockey League player. And whether it's the 7th or the 10th or the 9th or the 3rd, it doesn't matter. We believe that all these guys have a chance to play, and not only play, but be effective, good pieces for the organization. So good value for us again there in the 7th with Nolan.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a very good value pick there. And like we mentioned there, with the size of the frame, a centerman like that is definitely a valuable piece for a team moving forward. So exciting to see how he continues to move along in his career. Now moving on to round number 9, another local talent brought into the mix, another right-handed shot defenseman from Sault, playing at the Pacific Coast Hockey Academy, Kieran Wilson. What can you tell us about Kieran?
Well, Kieran caught my eye very early on. I was actually out west and at an early season showcase out in Vancouver. And of course, the PCHA boys had come across, and he caught my eye right away. He's a lankier right shot. He's got nice feet. He skates really well, supports his partner very well. He's got good skill. He can pass the puck. He's really good at kind of eluding forecheckers and can buy himself a little bit of time to let somebody else get open. Really, really well-rounded. Same old thing. We saw him at lots of events. We saw him at different tournaments, lots of the sports school showcases. I thought he had a very quietly good BC Cup. This isn't a guy that is going to be all over the score sheet, but he's just incredibly well-rounded. He's intelligent. We think he's got a chance to really kind of develop and grow and change physically over the next couple of years. And he checked lots of boxes for us. And obviously being local boy was a nice little piece to add to it, but he was selected on just the basis of the upside here. We think he's got a chance with some development here the next couple of years to turn into a good Western Hockey League defenseman. And the right shot helps. He can skate. He's intelligent. He just fits what we're looking for. He defends really well. He's rangy and covers lots of ground. So we had, his coaches had nothing but good things to say about him, and it was a no-brainer for us to take him there. We think he's really got a chance to be a good player and hopefully develop into a really good local fan favorite for the Royals here, hopefully someday.
Yeah, definitely. The homegrown talent definitely helps. So I know the fans will be excited about that one. Concluding it now with the 11th selection you guys made. This one, another all-time broadcaster name that I'm sure people are going to like, Declan Icovello. He's from North Vancouver, playing at the Burnaby Winter Club. What can you tell us about this right winger?
Declan's another guy caught our eye early on at some of the sports school showcases. We spent lots of time out west there watching these guys, and it was a bit of an up and down year for BWC this year, but I thought Declan was incredibly consistent throughout the whole season. Had a good season statistically. He had 30 points in 27 games. He's got some position flexibility there. He's grew over the course of the season. He's got a pretty good frame. He's intelligent. He's got good skill. He skates well. He just, I said off the hop, all these guys, they start to kind of sound the same. If that's what we're going for, and I thought he was very, very solid all season. Very well rounded. Again, coaching staff had nothing but good things to say about him, and works hard off the ice. And he's a great kid, and we're just Yeah, and if you make it onto our final draft list, wherever we take you, the expectation is, we think you got a chance to be a good Western Hockey League player, and we thought we got really good value there with Declan. Probably see him as a winger, but time will tell. He can play on the penalty kill. He can play on the power play. He's just very versatile because of his intelligence, and to say he's got some skill and can move the puck around pretty good. And he proved this year he can finish if he gets the chance too. So it's another guy that we're excited about. We're excited about all of them, and they're pretty well respected program there at Burnaby Winter Club, and they've been producing hockey players for a long time. They have a nice program there on the ice, off the ice. So hopefully we can have a good summer off the ice and show up at training camp and be in shape and ready to go. We really like the mix there. Like you said, positionally, we got a nice balance and some different styles of players, and we got a quality goaltender in there too. So we were really happy with how it went. Whether we took you early or took you late, we think everybody here has got a chance to be good Western Hockey League players. So we're very excited to add Declan there in the 10th round.
Yeah, no, and it definitely sounds overall like a very successful draft for everyone involved. So well done on your part, and I'm sure you guys are excited now just to look forward to getting see these players as a part of the Royals organization moving forward.
Yeah, we're very excited, and hopefully this hopefully lights a fire under these young guys to really put in the work off the ice and on the ice over the course of the summer and into the next couple seasons. This is really just kind of the start of the journey, and these young guys have to be so focused and so driven, and it's a race now to see who can get how quickly they can turn themselves into Western Hockey League players and work on their craft and just make sure that they're putting in the time and the effort. And we believe we got a bunch of players here that will compete amongst their teammates, and they'll definitely compete against the opposition, and they have to love the game and have a passion for it because it's a lot of work from here on out. I know you saw it this year, the up-tempo practices that James and Morgan put together for these kids, and everybody's going to have to show up in shape and be ready to go. This is about competition, and everyone's going to be fighting and jostling for roster spots. So the work starts now for these young guys, but we're very happy with how this went, and we're looking forward to seeing how this goes over the next couple of years. And our first glance will be at training camp in the fall, and hopefully everybody's grown a couple inches and put on some weight and showed up in good shape to show that they're deserving. And we're just really excited. We thought it was a great day, and we're glad it turned out like it did. And you mentioned we made a couple trades there. The opportunity to turn a 4th round pick into a second in 2028 was huge. We also traded down with Seattle. We were able to pick up a 7th round pick and acquire a 3rd next year for a 4th round pick this year, which we thought was really good value. So we make the additions to the current roster we did by picking up, Spencer, the goaltender there from Seattle, and to get Daniel Morozov should help the roster be more competitive next year. And obviously these players we drafted, will be a couple of years down the line, and adding those draft picks was just kind of the cherry on top. So we believe it was a very good day for the Victoria Royals there on Thursday.
Yeah, definitely are in that part. Exciting times ahead, and I'm sure those months are going to move by very quickly. Tanner, and I also don't know if you know this, but you're the first person to be on this podcast 3 times now. So you're the all-time leader in appearances on the Royals Roundup.
Wow, do I get a little figurine or something and put it up on the shelf?
Yeah, there's going to be Tanner McCall bobblehead night next year, so I'll get ready for that one.
Well, yeah, that seems about right. I got a big head, so I've been walking around like a bobblehead all my life.
Oh, man. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me again. I know the fans are going to like this in-depth review of everything that's gone on, and I'm sure we'll touch base around the CHL import draft at the beginning of July.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks for having me on, and welcome to all these kids and their families. We're excited to welcome them into the program, and should be exciting times ahead for the Victoria Royals. So thanks for having me on, Tony. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Tanner. Appreciate it.
Thank you.